Welcome to Mindful Movement. Today we are going to want to have a couple of props with us. So if you have some blocks, go ahead and grab those, maybe a blanket, and then also like a cushion or a pillow or a bolster of some kind that we'll use here. And let's just find ourselves in a seated posture to begin. So maybe that's on your blanket or it's on your cushion or just right directly on your mat. And we'll extend the spine nice and tall. Let the shoulders drop down from the ears. Let your eyes close. Just a slight tuck of the chin towards the chest. Lengthening the back of the crown and the neck. Let your hands fall to the knees. Allow your body and your breath to arrive into your practice. As you start to notice the lengthening of your breath, both in and out. Feeling the chest and the belly both rise and get full with the breath in, and deflate and contract with the exhale. Today, our intention in this class is going to be mindful movement, taking our shapes and postures nice and slow, really allowing some space for us to feel into each shape, allowing ourselves some time within that shape to notice and understand and become aware of the breath. Using this hatha style form of yoga to help us tap into a moving meditation. Pulling in the intention of being fully present in this practice. Mindfulness is presence. Slowing down, being fully aware and conscious of every action, every movement, every breath. And allow your hand to come rest on your heart and your belly. Again, just continuing to feel that breath as it fills the body. We'll draw both hands together at the heart space as we bring in 3 cleansing breaths to open up this practice, drawing your breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Letting those exhales become audible and drawing them out a little bit longer than the inhale. As we take our next breath in, begin to open up the eyes. Inhale as the arms come up and around. Let your gaze come up overhead with the arms and draw the hands down through heart center. And this time as we breathe in, we're going to reverse that inhale up through the crown and open the arms up and around, down next to your sides. Inhale to lift back up. Hands draw through the heart. Exhale, let it go. And one more time. Inhale, arms up, out and around. Exhale as the hands come down. Inhale as they come back up. And draw the hands back down through center. We're going to move off that cushion. And we're going to come into a tabletop, and go ahead and just keep that cushion somewhere near the top of your mat. Coming into tabletop, hands and knees, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees, toes untucked behind you. We're going to start to find a little movement through the spine as we breathe in, drop the belly, lift the gaze, and look up. And as you exhale, round the spine, ears fall between the arms. Shake out the head and the neck. And start to just move between these two shapes. And start to add anything in here that feels good. If you want to stay in one option a little longer, maybe you begin to move through the hips side to side, rolling through the shoulders. Opening up through the side body, extending as you expand the space between the ribs side to side. Really just staying present and mindful with the breath. Just intuitively slowing that breath down and noticing where it feels good to breathe into and where it feels good to breathe out to. We'll take a resting option here as we draw the knees wide and let the hips fall to the heels. Forehead comes down to the mat, arms stay extended overhead. Always an option here to bring a block under the head, any way in which you can allow the forehead to touch the earth. Really sink back into those hips. Soften into the shoulders. Allow a little bit of movement left and right through your forehead. An opportunity here to take 3 cleansing breaths. Let those exhales go out to the earth. Slowly begin to lift the forehead, come back up into that tabletop, bringing the knees back under the hips. And keeping those hips stacked over the knees, we're going to start to walk the hands up to the top of the mat. Letting the heart and the forehead sink back down to the earth. So we take this option more from where we just were in the hips into a little bit more in the shoulders. Always an option here to bend your elbows up overhead, take them into the opposite palm. Option to bring prayer hands behind the head. And even if we're noticing a little bit of discomfort or tension, Consciously using that breath. Staying present, lengthening the breath in and out. Slowly begin to walk those hands back under the shoulders. Find your tabletop. We're going to root into the left hand. And as we inhale, bring the right fingers up to the sky, twist it open. Exhale to thread it through, forehead comes back to the mat. That right arm comes in between the arm and the body. And the top of your wrist rests on the earth. You can keep the left hand where it is. You could extend it to the top left corner of your mat. Bring it to meet your right palm or draw it to the low back. Notice if there's any clenching in your jaw. Left hand comes back to the earth under your left shoulder. Inhale to rise, draw the right fingers back up. Shake out that arm a little bit. Take some circles through the wrist. Drawing it back down to the earth. This time we root into that right hand. Left fingers come up, twist it open. Breathe in. Exhale to thread it through. Forehead down. Same options here with that left hand. Right hand here on this side. Keep it where it is or find another option. Couple big deep exhales. Right hand comes back under the shoulder, push to rise, inhale, left fingers up. Shake it out, circles through those wrists. Coming back into a tabletop, find any movement here, side to side, forward and back, cat-cows, dropping and lifting, rounding and let the ears fall. From a neutral tabletop, we'll step the right foot forward. Option here to bring a blanket under your knee if you need a little extra support. Also an option here to bring 2 blocks to frame that front right foot. We want to check that our left hip is in front of the left knee and our right knee is stacked over the ankle. Feel free to lengthen your stride if that helps you sink a little bit more into this and pull that left hip forward. Keep your gaze down at the top of your mat. We'll take a big breath in together. And as we exhale and let it go, we're going to shift the hips back, straightening into the right leg. Lifting the toes up as you come back. Inhale, come forward, root that foot back down, bend into the front knee, bring it back up. Exhale, send it back. Lift the toes, keeping a slight micro bend in the knee. And just start to find the movement between these two shapes. And really stay present with the breath. So you exhale when you come back and inhale to come forward. The movement goes as slow as the breath. And 2 to 3 more rounds here. Last one together. And we'll meet on the exhale. So the hips are back. This time, go ahead and keep the toes planted. Allow your spine to round, head to become heavy, soften through the shoulders. And we'll just take a few breaths here in stillness in this half splits. Begin to lift the gaze, come forward back into the top of the mat, bend into that knee. We're going to heel toe the foot to the outer edge of your mat. So right foot comes to the right edge of the mat. Both of those hands are then going to come to the left of that foot. So wrists become directly under the shoulders. Maybe you're on your blocks, maybe you're on the mat. Either way is okay. Your right foot can stay planted and straight, or you can allow yourself to come out onto that outer edge of the foot. You can play with the height of your blocks here if you're using them. You can stay on the palms. You could make fists, keeping your thumbs out, or you could even come down onto the forearms if that's available for you today. Keep your spine nice and long, gaze down. Breathe into any areas of sensation. 2 more breaths. Root back onto the bottom of that right foot. Heel toe the foot back into center. You can remove the blocks, let the hands frame that right foot, and drop back behind you, extending into your right leg, taking some circles through the ankle, bending into the knee, even moving into that right hip, just lifting the right knee up and back. Keeping that right leg extended, nice in line with your back, toes point down. We're going to draw that right foot to the back left corner of the mat. So that knee comes right behind the left hamstring. Both hands are still right under the shoulders, direct and equal weight between the two. We'll lift the gaze, look up as we breathe in. And as we exhale, we're going to turn the gaze over to the left shoulder. Inhale back, gaze down to that. Lift that leg back up into the sky. See how high you can lift it, even point the toe a little bit. Really draw that right hip up. and then lower back down into tabletop. This time we're gonna step forward with our left foot, framing that front foot with our blocks or hands. Taking a few breaths here to just get established, pull the right hip forward, bend into that left knee. Make sure the knee is above the ankle. Try to not have it past your toes. Soften in the shoulders, gaze down at the top of your mat. Big breath in together. Exhale, send it back. Straightening into the left leg, drawing the hips back. You start to move between these two shapes with your own breath flow. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, send it back. Five to seven breaths here at your own pace. On your next exhale, we'll hold here. Hips back, micro bend in the knee, spine rounds, chin falls to the chest. Drawing that left hip back as you pull the right hip just slightly forward. Begin to lift the gaze, lengthen through the spine, come forward, bring a bend back into that front knee. We're going to heel toe this left foot to the outer left side of the mat. Both hands come under the shoulders. You can stay rooted or wing that left knee out. We can be on hands, fists, or forearms as you sink into your full expression here of the shape. Be mindful, it might look different side to side. It's okay. You don't have to push yourself forward or hold yourself back between those sides. The body is very good at bringing itself back into balance. And so we just notice where our edge or our limits are between each side. Three more breaths here. Root back down into that left foot, heel toe it back, frame those toes with the blocks or your hands. We're going to move the blocks out of the way. Hands come back to the earth. Draw that left leg back behind you. Find some movement through the ankle, the knee, the hip. And then keeping that left leg lifted, make it fall in line with your back. Toes point down. We're gonna draw that left foot behind you to the right corner of your mat. Inhale, look forward, breathe in. Exhale, look over the right shoulder. Inhale, look forward. Lift that left leg up, point the toes, and see how high you can lift that leg. Return it back to the mat, tabletop. Move out any props, find some movement, dropping the hips, shoulders, head and neck, side to side. Taking some circles. We're gonna bring ourselves into a seat, facing the top of the mat. We'll start with both legs extended, toes point up to the sky. Stack your shoulders right over your hips. And bring your hands down next to your sides. Big breath in, draw the arms up and around. And as you exhale, we're gonna start to fold forward. Bring those hands down towards the feet or the knees. And once you get about halfway, we're gonna take a pause. We're gonna take another deep breath in. See if you can inch your fingers forward a little bit. Keep them bend in the knee here if that feels nice. And as you breathe out, let the hands fall to wherever they fall. Could be the knee, the shin, the foot. Maybe it's a block past your foot. Let the spine round. If it feels good, you can kind of pull yourself against your legs. Soften through your jaw. And then start to straighten the spine back up nice and tall. Hands come back up overhead. And exhale, draw them back out and around down to your sides. We're gonna come into a butterfly, so soles of feet come together, knees fall out. You can decide how close or far your heels are to your body. Nice and tall through the spine, gaze forward. As you exhale, we're gonna start to pull the heart forward, interclasp the fingers around the toes. Find your spot that feels good for you to take a few breaths in. If hinging your elbows in front of your shins feels nice, just being mindful of your own body's boundaries, limits, where you can really feel like you can sink into this stretch. Let the head hang, chin falls to the chest. Start to lift the spine, lift the gaze. Slowly begin to draw the knees together, soles of feet to the mat. Bring your hands behind you. And we're gonna just allow the knees to fall side to side. Coming back down onto the back. Lifting up your heart, draw your shoulders together, hands rest next to your sides. And again, find those gentle tick-tocks here. Let the knees fall side to side. Meeting in a neutral center. We're gonna lift the knees into the sky. So almost like you're making a tabletop with your shins. 90-degree in the hip, 90-degree in the knee. We are going to be mindful of how we sync our breath to this. So as you breathe in here, bring it into the top. And as you exhale, we're just gonna drop the right toes to meet the mat. Now here we wanna be mindful that we're not bending into we're not changing the bend in any way. So we're just allowing the toes to drop. This is a hinge in the hip, not the knee. Inhale, drop back up. Switch sides, left foot drops. Notice again how we're not bending into the knees here. We're hinging from the hips. Inhale up and then switch sides. Start to move with your own breath. Engage that core, really push your low back into the mat. And be mindful of the breath. Inhale to lift. Exhale to drop. Notice where you feel this, where you feel the strength. Reminding ourselves that strength is not always in speed. Slow, mindful movement. Three more breaths. Meet at the top. Hug those knees into the chest. Find some movement as you rock side to side on your low back. Take some circles in the ankles. Soles of feet come back to the mat, hands down next to your sides, palms down. We're going to take a cross in the leg, right comes over the left. We're creating a figure 4 here in the knee. So a nice open gap between the knee. Soften through the shoulders. We're going to drop the left knee down to the left side. So the right sole of your foot comes to the earth. You could also bring a block here. Left hand could come down to take that right ankle into your hand. And right arm can come out next to your side, nice and long, maybe straight or maybe bent in the elbow. Let that right shoulder stay connected to the earth. Heart and gaze stay open to the sky. Release the left hand from the ankle, bring it back up to center. Uncross the legs, soles of feet down to the earth. And take a couple tick-tocks here, side to side. Meeting in center, knees bent. This time we'll take the left over the right, figure 4 on this side. Find your alignment, find your breath, and when you're ready, big breath in. Exhale, drop everything over to the right side. Same options here on this side. Meet your body where it's at. Left arm straight, right hand can come to that left ankle. Root into that left shoulder, heart and gaze open. Bring it back up through center, uncross the legs. Palms down next to your sides, tick-tocks left to right. We're gonna take that cushion, pillow, whatever you have, and we're gonna bring ourselves into a supported bridge pose here. So knees stay bent. We're gonna push into the feet, lifting the hips and draw that cushion under your low back. Lifting up your heart, draw the shoulders together. Hands can come to rest on the body or out next to the sides. Knees can stay bent here, or you could explore extending one or both. Just be mindful of that low back. If you start to feel a pinch there, just come back out. Heart is lifting up towards the chin, gaze is staying up towards the sky. Wherever you went, go ahead and bring a bend back into the knees. And we're going to extend the legs straight up into the sky. Letting the heels come over the hips, over the knees. Letting everything just start to drain the other direction in our body. Giving our heart a little bit of a break. Start to move through the ankles. Bending back into the knees, lowering the feet back to the mat, pushing into your feet, lifting hips. Draw that cushion out from under you. You can move it off to the side. As we extend our legs down to the bottom of our mat, moving into our final rest. Drawing your shoulders comfortably underneath you. Hands can rest on the body, maybe the heart or the belly, or they can be next to your sides on the earth. Find your spine nice and long, nice and straight. Allow your eyes to close. Holding a few minutes here to allow ourselves to seal this practice in today. Allowing the benefits of movement and stillness and breath. Stay within our body and into the rest of our day. Begin to find some gentle movement in your wrists and your hands, your feet and your ankles. And a big deep breath in, letting it go out through the mouth. Reach the arms up overhead, back behind you. And let yourself roll to one side. Slowly begin to bring yourself back into a seat, closing our class together. Spine tall, shoulders soft, hands meet at the heart with the eyes closed. Slight bow of the head as you look down at the fingers. Finding gratitude for your practice and making it to your mat today. Being mindful as you move into the rest of your day. Staying present. Staying conscious and aware. May you bring that presence and peace with you into the rest of your week. Thank you so much for joining me on this practice.